Hey guys, welcome to ThatNewToySmell.com. It's our off week, so I thought we'd bring you something a little different. My friends Jaron and John have decided to get together and start a brand new show where they're going to review movies. So I've decided to give it the awesome name of That Stale Popcorn Smell. Let's check it out.
Thanks, Pixel Dan. You're looking very pixelated today. Now, I'd like to welcome everybody. ThatNewToySmell.com has a new segment out, and apparently they're trying to broaden their scope. So from now on, once a month, you're going to have us here in order to review some movies on a segment that has been titled That Stale Popcorn Smell. So, let's go ahead and get right to the meat and potatoes of the thing. And what? Apparently, I'm working with Agent CIA tonight. Why? What's the deal?
What are you talking about?
Why? I thought this was more casual. Why are you in a suit?
Well, it's the way we were going to do things, I thought. I mean, we're talking about Quantum of Solace tonight, aren't we?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I figure, the new James Bond flick is out. I'm going to go ahead and get my duds up and
Okay,
we'll talk about
we're also talking about Tropic Thunder. I didn't grow my ears out or wear fake ears like Ben Stiller.
It's not my fault you're coming up short.
Great.
But anyways,
Great.
let's go ahead and get into the first topic tonight.
Yeah.
The theatrical release of Quantum of Solace. Now, this film actually does something that no other movie in James Bond franchise history has ever done. Quantum of Solace is a direct sequel to the 2006 hit Casino Royale. At the end of Casino Royale, James Bond loses the love of his life, leading directly into the storyline here, where he is on a gritty, cold-blooded revenge mission, trying to track down those responsible for her death. Now, walking out of the theater from Quantum of Solace, I will admit, I don't think it necessarily lived up to the potential that Casino Royale built in our minds. However, knowing what they're trying to do with the story and knowing that they're moving from a direct sequel, again, this movie takes place maybe an hour after Casino Royale ended. So James Bond isn't in his witty, peppy, suave state of mind. This is essentially a cold-blooded revenge thriller. So it didn't hurt my experience that we didn't necessarily get the same James Bond that we're used to. I think in this case, it actually worked for the movie. However, it's also fun to see the other.
No, come on. This movie was totally the episode 1 of the Bond franchise. I mean, they veered completely away from the character and what they were good at. James Bond is witty and is personable and charming. That's the character everybody fell in love with. That's Sean Connery. No, this was completely something else and it didn't work.
Okay, now I will admit they veer away from the basis of what we think the character is, but I don't think they just shot off on their own. I mean, they gave us a good lead-in for why he's in this state of mind. It's not like he's stuck there and they can't go back to that way for future installments. I just think sometimes James Bond movies need to veer a little bit from the norm. I mean, we're on the 22nd one right now. If they were all carbon copy cookie cutter of the exact same thing, the franchise wouldn't work. Every once in a while, they need to mix it up. They need to do something new. It's not going to be your favorite Bond movie ever, but I think it fits in the franchise very well, and I enjoyed the film.
They're trying too hard to be like, this new era of action movie, and there's this whole thing going on. Okay, with this movie, the first 30 minutes are so action-packed, there's no way that the climax can live up, and doesn't, to the beginning. The climax is supposed to be the most exciting part of the movie. I was on the edge of my seat just for the action scenes. Now, those action scenes had, nothing behind them, no story. They were just crazy action, which was cool. But, the whole action movie genre is kind of veering that direction now, where the beginnings are hot, and the end just kind of fizzles out, like this one did.
Well, and I will admit, some of the action I think was a little too close cut. Like you said, it started off very intense and very high paced, and it was a little hard to follow, but you didn't really care at the time. But the more scenes you see and the more they get into the hand-to-hand stuff, and it felt very much like a Bourne movie on some of the hand-to-hand scenes. I mean, they're so tightly shot, and they cut us back so quickly.
Right.
And sometimes you'll see a gun go off, and they'll show a close-up to one character. There were several times I thought James Bond had been shot in this movie, and I'm wondering where they're going to go from that.
I stood up and cheered.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's fine and running around, and I have no idea what's going on.
Mad.
I think that Bourne style of action works great in Jason Bourne films, I don't think it necessarily meshes with what I want to see in a Bond movie. And I will agree with you about the climax. There was definite fizzle towards the end there. You want it to get bigger and bigger as it goes, but they start off so high octane that there's nowhere to go but leveling off or maybe even down. I mean,
and the end was stupid. Yeah, they're in the middle of some desert, right? And, okay, it's an action movie. I give them some liberties. So there's this hotel built in the middle of this desert, okay? And they go there for a big action sequence and the big axe fight, you know, and that's cool. You know, I can suspend my disbelief to a certain point. When you expect me to believe that somebody built a hotel with hydrogen tanks behind every wall in every room so the whole thing blows up, well, that's just taking it a little too far for me. And that's why I give this movie 3 demerits.
demerits?
Yeah.
What do you mean demerits? I thought we were working off a star scale.
Well,
5 stars.
that's good for you. You brought me in to be the counterpoint. I work on a negative system.
So, wait. So 3 demerits would be like 2 stars? We're working negative?
Yeah, you can look at it that way. That works.
All right, then. Well, I will be working off more of a traditional star scale, in which case I give
Poser.
Quantum of Solace 3.5 stars.
Tropic Thunder, which was written and directed by Ben Stiller, is about the production of this Vietnam War movie epic, okay? And the 5 actors working on it are, you know, just like real prima donnas, and they're real hard to deal with. So the director decides he's going to take them into the actual Vietnam jungle, to get a little more feeling and, you know, to get them into the movie and kind of get everything under control. Which, of course, they are then mistaken for actual United States soldiers by some of the Viet Cong. Now, I don't usually like Ben Stiller movies. They're not my thing. Most of the time I just kind of get that queasy feeling like, you know, when you watch one of your real friends doing stupid stuff that brings terrible consequences upon his head, which he deserves. But this wasn't a Ben Stiller movie. I mean, it wasn't like that. It didn't have the same feel of a Ben Stiller movie.
Yeah, you really don't like Ben Stiller movies.
What in the world are you wearing?
What? It's camo, dude. We're talking about Tropic Thunder.
I get that.
You're in the jungle.
Yeah, it's Quantum of Solace. You have the suit. I just don't know how you change that fast.
What? Anyways, I really thought Tropic Thunder was one of my favorite comedies of the year. Not number 1 by any means, but top 5 at least. Now, it's been a pretty good year for comedies, but I really think the cast worked well together. Like you said, it wasn't your traditional Ben Stiller movie where it's just him running around making an ass out of himself. It was really more of an entourage film. And I think the guys played off of each other well. I think Robert Downey Jr. was fantastic, you know, as the Black Platoon Sergeant, or the Australian actor playing the Black Platoon Sergeant, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I think Stiller worked well. I think the cameos and the guest stars, I don't want to ruin anything, but it's worth renting the movie alone just for the people that you don't even know are in it yet if you haven't seen it. I mean, I laughed throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. This movie has a lot of moments. My main complaint with the movie, I think, would be that it's a little long. And it's not. I mean, it's not even that long. Just really, I think they could have streamlined it and it would have moved along a little faster and really felt like something special. I just didn't feel any magic off this movie.
Yeah, I can see how maybe some of the jokes could have been 3-minute scenes instead of 4-minute scenes, but I mean, I never got bored. I didn't feel like I was sitting there forever. Again, I enjoyed myself thoroughly the entire time through. I liked seeing the guys play off each other. I really laughed a lot at this movie. It gets a little overdone here and there with some of the action stuff, but that's kind of the point of the movie. It's like a modern-day Three Amigos. You know, there's not much more you can do with that. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 stars for the comedy Tropic Thunder.
I gotta bring it in at 2 demerits.
Well, it's not all bad, it doesn't sound.
Not all bad.
All right. All right, everybody. Well, that's our show for this month. I want you to be sure to be here next month on thatnewtoysmell.com to see a new edition of That Stale Popcorn Smell, where we go ahead and review the best and worst movies of 2008.
That's right. Second show. We're already changing formats.
Well, I mean, we're not really changing form. I mean, we're just kind of doing a new... whatever. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'm John.
And I am anxiously awaiting the sequel to Hancock.